MCC is back. MCC 12, the teams were released yesterday, and I'm going to go over them, who's going to win, who's going to do bad, why my predictions are wrong, because they always are. So let's get into it. I'm really excited. The first team, the Red Rabbits, they have Wisp, who I'm really excited that he's joining the event. He's mostly a 1.8 PvPer, but he won't be bad. Considering last month, I believe, the Purple Pandas with Quackity, Tommy, Fundy, and Wilbur did third. And that is like really surprising. So honestly, I think this team could do roughly as well, because Tommy, when he tries really hard, he does really well. And especially if Tubbo tries really hard, if Wisp turns out to be good, I think Wisp could end up as a top 15-ish player, because that's around where Tapple was in his first MCC event, and you know, I'd say they're about the same level. So this team, they're going to do better than everyone's going to predict them for. The Orange Ocelots might be one of the most balanced teams, as in they're going to do very well, but I don't think they'd ever do well in Dodgebolt. Every single team this MCC is so balanced. The Yellow Yaks, alright. This is a really tough one to predict because Gizzy and Ryguy are like, but Quig and SB737 are both good, especially Quig. So, you know, they could do well, they could do average, they could do below average. I guess that's the same with every team. This team's kind of a wild card, I'd say. The Lime Llamas are being slept on so hard. This is gonna be just like, I think it was 2 or 3 MCCs ago when Fruit Berries won again. This is going to be pretty similar to that in my opinion. They might not win, but they're very underrated. I'll just say this, they might not have one good superstar player, but they are very well rounded with no bad players. They're statistically amazing. The Cyan Creepers, if Lauren does well in this could easily be a top team. Because Pete, CPK, and Solidaria are all good, especially Pete. The Aqua Axolotls. This is just a team of all builders, and while they are good, they're not going to do amazing. The Blue Bats. Okay, Illumina and Puns both got into this event. That is just crazy. Illumina is easily going to be like a top bingo player if that ever gets picked, and he's really good at parkour. Illumina is so underrated, and Puns is really good at, well, I mean, just about everything. And then Captain Puffy and Kara are pretty much 2 of the most underrated players. I think that they both average like top 20 in every event they play, and the only exception was last event. So I think that this team could do very well, but considering how well the team did last week with Techno and Tapple instead of Illumina and Puns, it's kind of up in the air on what game modes get picked. The Purple Pandas, alright. Smager, dang that's a long name, MCC organizer Scott, he is very underrated, as is Shovel. Dan didn't do very well last time, and Sapnap is very good. I think that this team will probably be above average on the leaderboards, but honestly it just depends on what game modes get taken and how seriously they take the event. And the last team, Captain Sparkles, Dream, Michael McChill, and Spifey. This is going to be a very fun team to watch. I'm probably going to be watching Captain Sparkle's perspective this MCC, and, you know, this team, I think that if Michael and Spifey both do really well, or not really well, but if they both perform, like, at their best, this team could be a top competitor. So, coming in last place in the event, I know I have a history of underrating the builders, but this team's not going to do well. I think that they could do better. It obviously depends on what game modes are picked. That's pretty much all that MCC relies on, but I really don't see them getting any better than top 5. This is one of my picks where it really just depends on like what game modes are chosen in the event. But this team, I think that they'll come in 9th place, but I think 9th place, obviously it really just depends on the game modes. But I'd say for now, Yellow Yaks, second to last place, unfortunately. The Orange Ocelots, alright. This is a really tough one to put in 8th place, just because H-Bomb is the best player in the event when it comes to elevating his teammates onto a different level. That's what he does. But I think 8th place is reasonable just because of how good all the other teams are. They could do really well in so many different events, I mean, so many different game modes, because H-Bomb kind of specializes in all of the game modes that no one else is good at. So Potentially, if like a bunch of stuff like Bingo or Rocket Spleef are chosen, then this team could do very well. But if the main game modes that are normally chosen, I'd say 8th place for now. Okay, this is a very controversial pick, but hear me out. Last MCC, Techno, Tapple, Kara, and Captain Puffy all teamed together, and they got 6th. However, it was really just a lot of bad luck. A lot of things didn't go their way, and the game modes were like in a completely wrong order for that team specifically. So you could argue that that was a fluke. However, I would say Techno and Tapple are probably going to perform better than Illumina and Puns will in this MCC. Obviously, Techno's not in this MCC, but that's irrelevant. So what I'm saying is Techno and Tapple are better than Illumina and Puns. And while Puffy and Kara could definitely do better, because they both played like one of their worst events last MCC, I'm going to say that they come in 7th. I think that there's just going to be some bad game modes for them. And because Illumina and Puns are new, generally that doesn't mean anything, but they probably won't get as many points as they could if they have already played in the event. So 7th, but if the right game modes are chosen, just like with every team, they could do way better. I'm so sorry, Dream fans. Coming in at 6th place, the Pink Parrots. Okay, I know that I'm watching Captain Sparkles for the event, but that is just because he and Dream together is going to be hilarious, especially with Michael and Spifey. I don't think that this team is going to do any better than like 4th, unless Dream gets them all together and they just train nonstop, which might happen because he's done that before. And Captain has been known to train a lot, and Michael trains a decent amount. Spifey, he can be good at the game, but generally he's not one to try super hard. So 6th place for now, but it's kind of unpredictable. This MCC, these teams are so balanced. Scott did such a good job on this. In 5th place, I have the Purple Pandas. Come on now, Scott. You've got to stop putting yourself on these broken teams. No, I'm just kidding. These teams are all so well balanced, honestly. Okay, this team, I think that they could potentially do way better, just like every other team. I feel like I'm just repeating myself. But Scott and Shubble are probably 2 of the most underrated players in the event. I think that they've both gotten top 10 before. Sapnap is a consistent top 10 player, and I think that if Dan plays better than he did last time, which he almost certainly will because last time was his first MCC, then this team could do very well. But Sapnap normally teams with George, Dream, or Kratzy, and when he's on those teams, he always does really well. But the one time that he wasn't with them, he had his worst performance ever. So for that factor, I'm going to put this team in 5th. And mainly I think that all of the team points-wise are going to be super close. So, you know, putting them between 5th and 2nd, there's not really too much of a difference there. But I'm going to put them in 5th. However, if they like do a bunch of practices together, then I think that they could do amazing. This is kind of a hot take. But Tommy, Tubbo, and Wisp, I think that they can all get top 15 if they actually try. Last event, Tommy did try, and he got, like, what, 4th place in the individual board? Quackity obviously isn't very good, but everyone else on the team, it just has the ability to perform exceptionally, so I think 4th place for the Red Rabbits. 3rd place for the Cyan Creepers. Okay, Pete is the best player in the event. You cannot change my mind. CPK and Solidarity are both super underrated. Lauren, if she doesn't do terrible, then I think that this team will get 3rd place. They might do 2nd if another team above them, like either jokes around or just doesn't perform very well. But for now, 3rd place for the Cyan Creepers. I know, no one really is, looking at this team and saying, oh, this team's going to Dodgebolt. Just because most people, they look for that one good, insane player on a team and then rate them really well. But for the Green Guardians, I think every single player on this team can do above top 20. And if every single player does above top 20, then this team will easily get 2nd place. George, Phil, Tapple, and Wilbur all can do that. Phil and Tapple especially have like top 10 potential, and maybe George. This team is being so underrated. They don't have any of those like insane superstar players. The closest to that is Phil, I'd say. But oh my god, this team is just statistically, I think that it's the best team. The Lime Llamas. Okay, I know. I think that this team, third place at minimum. That's my guess. But for this, I'm saying that they will get first place for the sole reason that the team below them with George, Tapple, Phil, and Wilbur might not take it seriously. If that team does take it seriously, then I think they will get first. If not, then they might actually get lower than second. But for the Lime Llamas, there's no way they don't get top 3, I think. Just because Fruit is insane at just, he's something about his presence just like calms everyone down. It helps them perform better. He's really good at like teaching in the middle of a match on what to do. Yeah, this team's gonna get first, and in Dodgebolt, I think that they would win for the sole reason that Joel and Fruit are both really good in Dodgebolt, especially Fruit, because Fruit's just a god at the game. Pearlescent Moon has gotten top 10 in the past, and I believe that Cubfan has gotten top 20. There's really no weakness to this team. So, these are my predictions. The Lime Llamas, I know it's kind of controversial, but I think that they're gonna win. Like and subscribe, and remember that these are my opinions, so don't get mad. And yep, you know what? They're gonna win. Calling it right now. Thanks for watching, and again, like and sub, please. Tell me who you think would win, I guess. And yeah, woo, MCC, let's go.